Then Lavinia stooped beside the nearby flower-bed and pulled out a large, sharp-edged stone. They watched, disbelieving, as she aimed it hard at the glass panel in the door, which shattered with a loud crash. She felt inside and fiddled with the handle. "Watch out for the broken glass!" cried Florence. Triumphantly, Lavinia pulled the door open. "Let's leave our mark here," she urged them. Amy and two of the others followed her into the dark interior, with its smell of old socks. Lavinia found another stretch of light wood, where she painted their slogan once more. Amy produced her stick of red chalk. She added the slogan to other places on the wall, half alarmed at her action. "Take care!" Florence called from outside. "Someone's gone for a policeman!" Then they heard a distant whistle. Even Lavinia looked nervous now. She abandoned her paint pot and led the stampede for the door. They began to run off in the opposite direction to the whistles, along with their other supporters. From here, they could return to the high street by a narrow alley between gardens. "Are you all right?" Amy asked Lavinia. "Your arm's bleeding." "It's only a scratch." There was an ugly streak of green paint down her pale dress as well. "We'd better disperse," Lavinia told them, hastily pulling off her sash and cramming it into her bag. Some ran faster than others, and when they reached the high street, they set off in different directions. Lavinia disappeared down a lane leading to the brook. "Your bag's open," Florence warned Amy, and she fastened it. Then they saw the unwelcome sight of Constable Swift, one of the village policemen, on his bicycle. He was staring at them suspiciously. Florence tucked her arm through Amy's. "Excellent sermon this morning, wasn't it?" she said loudly, as they passed a familiar terrace of Georgian houses. "I thought it was one of Uncle's best ones," she replied, a little breathlessly. At 19 years old, how could she have broken the law? She was the demure young niece of the vicar, wasn't she? They tried to saunter calmly along the street, and were rewarded by seeing the policeman cycling on. Amy continued to her corner and said goodbye to Florence, then turned and walked to her home in Sebastopol Terrace. She let herself into the little brick house and checked her appearance in the hall mirror. Had she any telltale signs of irregular behaviour, like Lavinia? Of course, there were red chalk marks on her fingers. She hurried to wash her hands. Then she took off her hat and combed the long trailing curls of her fair hair. She walked through to the back garden, where her parents were sitting in deck chairs. Behind them, dahlias were flowering, in shades of vivid gold and deep red. Further down the garden, the young runner beans were beginning to scale their canes in Father's vegetable plot. "Hello, darling, had a nice walk?" her father asked her, his face relaxed. Whatever would they say if they knew what she'd been about? "Yes, thanks." She fetched another chair and joined them. There was the hum of insects and sound of chatter from a neighbour's garden. She leant back and closed her eyes. She couldn't help enjoying a feeling of pride that she had taken action for the cause. Even so, she worried about the damage Lavinia had wilfully caused. She was half anxious, half defiant, wondering when the deed would be widely known about. Would anyone have recognised them? The shadows were lengthening now. When Mother got up to prepare tea, Amy went and joined her as she usually did, handling the familiar items: the plate with the freshly made Dundee cake, the cut-glass pot of jam, and the milk jug with its muslin cover, weighed down with glass beads. Soon they were all arranged in their usual positions on the back-room table, with its white cloth with the lace edging. Mother made the tea, and Amy took the pot with its cosy and placed it carefully on its stand. Father took his place at the table. He was wearing his Sunday best suit and was smart as usual, as befitted a school teacher.